Good day, everyone. First and foremost, I would want to express my gratitude to Asia Scholars Network and its staff for accepting my paper for presentation and publication. So this is my research title, Solving Trigonometric Problem Using Mathway Application in Teaching Mathematics. In this paper, this would tackle more about the integration of technology in mathematics classroom, and that is specifically the Mathway. So allow me to introduce myself. So my name is Soraim Hadjinor. I am the researcher of this study. I am a current faculty of Mindanao State University, University Training Center, Marawi City, Philippines. So that's my face. Okay, so let's get started. So let's start with the introduction. So many students have individual difficulties and inclination for different subjects in class. This situation is supported by the multiple intelligence theory of Howard Gardner. This theory states that every child has different intelligences and difficulties. For instance, students have difficulties in solving math problems. This is the reason why many college students fail in math subject. Most of them have negative attitudes towards mathematics and they think that math is boring. Understanding concepts and formulas is the most challenging problems of the students who hate math. As a coping strategy, students at present use mobile applications which can help them understand mathematical problems. So according to Corpus and Lucido, 2008, technology is made for man and not man for technology. It is made for teachers, not the other way around. This implies that technology cannot deprive the talents of teachers in sharing knowledge to those who need them because teachers are far away better in good teaching than technology. Nevertheless, teacher can use technology as instrument in teaching and as guide by the students. In connection with teaching and technology, specifically mathematics is one liberal arts subject which has been utilizing technology for several years now. One very good example instrument used in mathematics teaching that is a product of technology is the use of calculator, whether scientific, electronic, solar, or others. However, as time passes by with the improvement of technology, calculators are no longer treated as technology due to their being old and weary to use. Mathematics teaching today is also evolving with the production of higher level of technology, which most of math teachers have no idea about it. This could be a great help for teachers in enhancing the way they teach for a much better quality learning on this. So mathematics teaching in the current era necessitates a face-to-face manner of service, thus a need for knowledge on high new set of technology. Thus, the aid of technology in addressing learning problems is useful. With the advancement of technology, researchers and mathematicians have discovered necessary softwares that would be useful in teaching and facilitating mathematics. So the software that caught the attention of the researcher of this study is the Mathway application. Now, to ascertain the usefulness of this application, the researchers conducted a study on the effectiveness of Mathway application in improving students' problem-solving skills in trigonometry. Through this study, the researchers aim to show that using technology in mathematics teaching and learning will be a great help to make learning activities in trigonometry more interesting so that learners will learn easily and be motivated to study more. Now, this is the research framework of this study. Now, this is anchored with different theories such as cognitive learning development, laws of learning, and constructivism. Now, this study attempts to ascertain the effectiveness of Mathway application in improving the performance of grade 10 students. So, variables were identified based on the concept of this study. Firstly, there is a need to describe the respondents according to their characteristic, and that is the participant's profile. Thus, their profile was determined in terms of age, gender, and latest grade in math, which are deemed necessary in extracting implication related to their performance. Moreover, another set of important variables was considered as well. The independent variable is the use of Mathway application in solving trigonometric problems, while their performances in trigonometry is the dependent variable. The pre-test and post-test, as you can see in the research framework, the pre-test and post-test scores were compared to know if there is a significant difference exists before and after the intervention. So let's go to the statement of the problem. So this study fundamentally aimed to answer the following question. What is the respondent's profile in terms of age, gender, and latest grade in math? What is their test performance profile in the pre-test and post-test? Is there a significant difference between the respondent's pre-test and post-test performance? What are the respondents' views on the use of Mathway application in solving trigonometric problem? Now, the methodology of this study is that this used the quasi-experimental design in order to make inference on the effectiveness of using Mathway application in improving students' performance in solving trigonometric problem. Quasi-experimental research attempts to examine the effects of an intervention on a specific population. In this study, the respondents is a group of one in fact section who were given pre-test before the intervention and post-test after the intervention. The time interval between the pre-test and post-test is 3 weeks, which is assumed sufficient to measure the learning of the respondents after the intervention. Furthermore, the difference in the scores between the pre-test and post-test serves as the criterion in analyzing the effectiveness of the intervention. The researchers analyzed the results and improvement of the respondents in solving trigonometric problem by using appropriate statistical tools. Now let's go to the results and discussion. Now, the table 1 shows the mean of the pretest scores of the participants. So this shows the respondents' pretest scores. As shown, 6 or 20% of the respondents passed the pretest, while 24 or 70% of the respondents failed. On the average, with a mean score of 11.9310, the participants or respondents pretest score had a grade equivalent of 69.8852 described as failed. This implies that most of the participants had a poor performance in the pretest. Now let's go to the results and discussion for the mean of the post-test scores of the participants. This shows the post-test scores of the participants. As shown, 15 or 50% of the respondents passed the post-test, while 15 or 50% also of the respondents failed. On the average, with a mean of 14.6552, the respondents' post-test score had a grade equivalent of 74.4259, being described as failed also. As shown, there is a 4.507 increase. As you can see, from the pretest performance rating, the transmuted grade from 69.8852. So after the implementation of the Mathway with the aid of Mathway application, the students had improved their performance in post-test, that is with the main rating of 74.4259, which has a difference of positive 4.507. Those two pre-test and post-test performances remarks failed, but you can see that there is an improvement happen because there is an increase of main rating, and that is 4.507. So, table 3 significant differences of the participants' pre-test and post-test score. Now, that shows the t-test analysis of the participants pre-test and post-test. The findings show that the calculated t-value of negative 3.983 was less than the tabulated value of 0.00 set at 0.05 level of significance. Thus, there is a significance difference between the pre-test and post-test scores of the participants. This shows that the use of Mathway improved the general performance of students in the post-test compared with their performance in the pre-test. This supported, oh, that's it. Now, so what we can conclude, taking all the accounts, few or 20.00% of the participants passed the pretest with the mean score of 11.9310, which is equivalent to the transmuted grade of 69.8852. So most of them had a poor performance in the pretest. Half or 50.00% of the participants failed the post-test with a mean score of 14.65552, which is equivalent to 74.4259 transmuted grade, meaning there is a 4.507 increase in the performance in the post-test compared with pre-test. This significantly implies that the use of Mathway slightly improved the overall performance of the learners. Hence, there is still increase although the qualitative rating is failed. The researchers also observed that due to the activities and motivation done using Mathway, the participants or respondents felt motivated to study math before the post-test was conducted. This result would mean that the proper implementation of technology like the use of Mathway applied for 3 works would improve the performance of the participants or respondents. So the calculated p-value of negative 3.983 was less than the tabulated value of 0.00 set at 0.05 level of significance. Thus, the null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the pretest and post-test performance of the participants is rejected. The respondents' general view on the use of Mathway is positive, in which, according to them, it would stand as their guide in evaluating trigonometric problems and would give them an accurate answer to the problems. So, taking all the accounts, based on the findings, the intervention has relatively affected the performance of the respondents, and this led them to give their affirmative views on using Mathway. This means that the use of this mobile application in solving problems in trigonometry effectually upgraded the respondents' or participants' performance in trigonometry. So let me show you the documentation during the conduct of this study. So here are the participants who were taking their pre-test. And on the other side, it's their final test, the post-test. This is how those participants harness or use the Mathway application. So all in all, the implementation of mathematics education with the integration of technology is effective. So it means this is success. So again, thank you very much for listening. That's all, and thank you, Asian Scholars Network.